Let me tell you something most people never realize until it's too late. You've got 24 hours in a day, same as everyone else. But while some are stuck trading hours for dollars, others are busy multiplying their wealth while they sleep. Why? Because they've learned a new way to think. See, money is a tool. It's not meant to be hoarded or wasted. It's meant to be deployed. The wealthy understand this. If your money isn't working harder than you are, you're on the wrong side of the equation. Wealth is not just about effort. It's about philosophy. It's about how you think about earning, saving, and multiplying. The poor think in terms of survival. The rich think in terms of systems. The average person says, I'll work harder. But the wealthy say, I'll make smarter moves. And tonight, we're going to shift your thinking from labor to leverage, from paycheck to passive flow, from survival to strategy. Because when you develop the right mindset and habits, your money starts performing a job of its own. And that's when real freedom begins. Most people are trained from the beginning to chase income. Go to school, get a job, earn a paycheck, repeat until retirement. That's the formula. But let me tell you something that changed my life early on. Money earned is temporary, but assets are permanent. Income pays today's bills. Assets build tomorrow's fortune. The wealthy don't just work for money, they build machines that work for them. And those machines are called assets. Now, what is an asset? An asset is anything that continues to put money in your pocket without you trading your time for it. That could be a rental property producing monthly cash flow. That could be a business that runs with systems and staff, creating revenue even while you're on vacation. It could be royalties from a book or licensing rights to a product you created once and now get paid for over and over again. It's money that comes to you not because you showed up, but because you built wisely. The average person gets stuck in the trap of income. And don't get me wrong, income is important, but it's only the beginning. If you stop at income, you'll always be working for money instead of having money work for you. That's why when you earn, you must learn to convert part of that income into an asset. Don't just spend it, plant it. You're either a consumer or a builder. The poor spend, the rich allocate, the poor buy liabilities, the rich invest in income-generating opportunities. I remember when I was broke, I thought working harder would be the answer. But the truth is, there's only so many hours you can trade. The wealthy think differently, they ask, how can I build something once that pays me forever? That's what changed my financial destiny. I began to focus less on having a bigger paycheck and more on building asset shares in a business, real estate, even small investments that added up over time. Let me give you a rule I lived by. Don't just work all day, own something by the end of the day. That mindset creates freedom. Because assets don't take days off. Assets don't ask for raises. They grow, they appreciate, and they pay you whether you're working, resting, or traveling the world. So here's the shift stop asking, how much can I make this month? Start asking, what asset can I build or buy this month that will pay me next year and the year after that? That's how you escape the hamster wheel and start building real wealth. Build assets, not just income, and let your money work while you sleep. One of the greatest dangers to your wealth is ignorance dressed as opportunity. Too many people get excited by shiny things, stocks that can't miss, business deals that promise the moon, crypto coins with funny name sand they throw in, their hard-earned money, hoping it multiplies like magic. But the wealthy don't operate on hope, they operate on understanding. Before they put a dollar to work, they put their mind to work. They don't gamble, they evaluate. You see, it's not just about investing, it's about investing in what you truly understand. That's the difference between building wealth and burning money. And the truth is, if you don't understand it, you have no business putting your money into it. Because here's the principle. You can't control what you don't comprehend. The rich know this. That's why they study industries, trends, cycles, risks, and returns. They read, they listen, they attend, they observe. Before they participate, they educate. When I was starting out, I made the mistake of diving into opportunities I didn't understand just because someone said, it's hot right now. And more often than not, I came out empty-handed. So I learned painfully that the first and most important investment is in your own intelligence. Not in gadgets, not in hype, but in wisdom. Because once you know, you can grow. Let me give you a simple phrase that can save you a fortune. Let me study this first. It's powerful. It creates space. It gives you time to gather facts, to do your homework. Because anything that pressures you to act fast without clarity is not an opportunity, it's a trap. Wealthy people don't chase speed, they chase certainty. They move with conviction, not emotion. And that conviction comes from knowledge. So, before you buy the stock, read the reports. Before you join the business, learn the model. Before you lend the money, understand the terms. Because every dollar you earn is a soldier, and it's your responsibility to send it to battle with direction, not confusion. Don't fall for the lie that you have to be a genius to invest. No, you just have to care enough to learn. And the good news is, the information is out there. Books, mentors, courses, case studies. But remember, learning is a discipline. It's not passive. You seek it, you question it, and you apply it. So if you want your money to work for you while you sleep, make sure it knows what it's working in, and make sure you do too. Invest in understanding before you invest in the outcome. Albert Einstein once said, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it." Now that's not just a clever quote, it's a life philosophy. It's a warning and an invitation wrapped into one. Because once you grasp the power of compounding, you'll never think of money the same way again. Let me tell you something. Wealth isn't built by trying to jump the line, by chasing the next big thing, or by timing the market perfectly. The rich don't obsess over when they start, they obsess over how long they stay in. Because the real magic isn't in the event, it's in the process. Compounding is the silent partner of the wealthy. It works quietly, steadily, invisibly at first, until one day it explodes. But only if you stay in the game long enough. Imagine you plant a tree today. You don't see a forest tomorrow. You water it, care for it, and give it time. And in 5 years, 10 years, 20, it gives you shade, fruit, and beauty. That's how compound interest works. Whether you're investing in stocks, in real estate, in business profits, or even in knowledge, it starts small but multiplies over time. The average mind says, "That's too slow." But the wealthy mind says, "That's how wealth is built." Because here's the truth. The longer your money stays invested and reinvested, the harder it works for you. It's not just your principal working, it's your gains working too. And when your gains start earning gains, and those gains earn more gain snow, you've built a machine that doesn't sleep. Most people interrupt compounding. They cash out too early, switch strategies too often, or pull out because of fear or impatience. That's like digging up the seed every few weeks to check if it's growing. The rich, however, have the patience to let it run. They trust the formula. Time X, consistency X, discipline equals wealth. Now, compounding doesn't only apply to money, it applies to effort too. Reinvest your learning daily, reinvest your experience, reinvest your discipline. Because success compounds, good habits compound, results compound, and so does neglect. Compounding doesn't care what you feed it, it will multiply whatever you give it, so give it something good. If you want to build wealth that works while you sleep, learn to partner with time. Start now. Start small if you must, but start. Let time do its quiet work. And above all, protect the process. Don't pull it up. Don't interrupt it. Don't doubt it. Because one day you'll wake up and realize you've built something massive not by chance, but by compounding. Most people sit down with a budget and ask, "How do I survive?" The wealthy sit down with a budget and ask, "How do I grow?" And that, my friend, is a difference in mindset that changes everything. The average person budgets out of fear of running out, fear of bills piling up, fear of financial failure. But the wealthy, they budget from vision, not fear. They look at every dollar like a soldier assigned, directed, and deployed with purpose. See, here's the trap. If all you ever do is budget to stay afloat, you'll never learn how to sail. Most folks use their money like a lifeboat just trying to stay above water. But the wealthy build ships. They allocate capital not just to cover rent and groceries, but to fund ideas, buy equity, and invest in growth. They treat budgeting not as a limitation, but as a strategy for expansion. Let me tell you something simple but profound. Every dollar has a job. The difference between the rich and the poor is what job they assign. The poor assign dollars to consumption, spend it quick, enjoy the moment, and start over tomorrow. The rich assign dollars to multiplication. Where can this grow? How can this produce? What can this protect? Here's a practical shift in thinking. When you get paid, don't ask, what can I buy? Ask, what can I build? If your budget only covers your needs, you'll only survive. If your budget includes investment, education, skill building, and ownership, you start creating momentum. The wealthy also budget for protection, not just multiplying their money, but preserving it. They buy insurance, they diversify, they pay attention to tax strategies, not because they're afraid, but because they understand money you keep is just as important as money you earn. Think of your money as employees. If all your employees just work to keep the lights on, your business never grows. But if you assign some to marketing, some to R&D, some to talent now, you've got growth on the table. Wealthy people think of their personal budget the same way. Some dollars protect, some dollars produce, and some dollars scale. Budgeting isn't about restriction, it's about direction. And direction creates destiny. So the next time you write a budget, don't just ask, can I cover my bills? Ask, what percentage of this is building my future? Because if your budget doesn't contain growth, neither will your life. The goal is not just to get by, the goal is to get ahead. Budget for growth, and the future you want becomes possible. Most people lose their fortune not because they didn't earn enough, but because they never made the process of keeping and growing it automatic. See, here's what I discovered early on. Human nature is emotional, impulsive, and easily distracted. If wealth depends on how you feel at the end of the month, you'll never keep it. But if you automate the right habits, wealth grows quietly even while you sleep. Let me give you the principle. Discipline doesn't require daily decision if the system is already in place. Wealthy people remove the burden of choice by automating what matters. Most savings, investments, debt payments, insurance. The poor say, I'll invest what's left. The rich say, I'll invest first and spend what's left. Do you know what that does to your mindset? It tells your subconscious, building wealth is not optional. It's scheduled. That's the real power of automation. It turns a good intention into a guaranteed result. Whether it's 10%, 20%, or more, decide what your future deserves and take that decision out of the hands of emotion. Now, some folks say, well, Jim, I like to be in control. I say you're most in control when you're least emotional. Automation removes the panic. It keeps your future moving forward, even on days when motivation is low. Because let's be honest, we all have those days where we'd rather spend than save, where the temptation of now feels louder than the promise of tomorrow. That's why you automate. It's how farmers sow seed. They don't wait until they feel like planting. They put it in the ground because they know that discipline brings harvest. And money works the same way. Every automated transfer, every recurring investment, every consistent contribution, it's all seed in the ground. It doesn't look flashy at first, but over time, it compounds into something incredible. Here's another truth. The wealthy don't think of automation as restrictive. They see it as freedom. It frees their mind to focus on creation, strategy, and relationships, not on chasing every penny. It's quiet, wealth, steady, and unshakable. Want to know how to win the game of wealth? Set the game up so you can't lose. Automate your success. Because relying on discipline alone is like trying to carry water in your hands. Eventually, you'll drop some. But a system holds it tight. So, make the decision once and let automation keep making it for you. Because the more decisions you take off your plate, the more wealth you quietly build behind the scenes. That's how the rich do it, and so can you. Let me tell you what I learned early in my career. Depending on a single source of income is like building a house on one leg. It only takes one unexpected gust of wind to job loss, a market shift, a health issue, and the whole thing can collapse. You see, the wealthy, they think differently. They don't put all their hopes in one paycheck. They build multiple streams of income, each one like a pillar holding up the house of financial freedom. Now, here's a simple truth. Security doesn't come from your job, it comes from your ability to produce and multiply value in different ways. Your job may pay the bills, but your creativity, your knowledge, your strategy, that's what builds the extras, the investments, the businesses, the royalties, the cash-flowing assets. One of the wealthiest men I ever met told me, "Jim, my job gave me comfort. My side income gave me confidence. But my passive income gave me freedom." That's the philosophy. You start by planting one seed, then you plant another and another. Before long, you have an orchard, different trees bearing fruit in different seasons. Let me give you some practical examples. Maybe you've got a job that's stream 1. Great. Now add stream 2, start a small side business. Maybe something digital or service-based. Stream 3, invest in dividend-paying stocks. Stream 4, buy a rental property. Stream 5, create a product once that sells over and over, like an ebook or an online course. It doesn't happen all at once, but the mindset must start now. See, when the wealthy think about income, they think like architects, not just workers. They build structures that work without them. Because when one stream dries up, another one is still flowing. That's resilience. That's how you stay strong in any economy. And here's the kicker. Every extra stream of income also expands your thinking. You become more alert, more resourceful, more strategic. It's not just about the money, it's about who you become in the process. A person who sees opportunities instead of obstacles. A person who multiplies instead of merely maintains. But don't wait for the perfect time. Start small. One stream, then 2. And every time you build another, say to yourself, I'm buying back a piece of my freedom. Because that's what multiple streams really are, tools for freedom. Freedom to choose, freedom to give, freedom to live on your own terms. So don't just work for your income, build income that works for you. And let each new stream be a silent partner in your journey to wealth. Let me tell you something that changed the way I looked at wealth forever. Money is a language. And like any language, if you don't speak it, you'll always be at the mercy of those who do. If you want your money to work for you while you sleep, you've got to learn how to understand what it's doing when you're awake. You see, the wealthy don't treat money emotionally, they treat it intellectually. They don't just guess, they calculate. They understand how money flows, where it hides, how it grows, and most importantly, how to measure it. That means they know how to read financial statements the way a pilot reads an instrument panel. They don't panic in turbulence, they read the gauges. Balance sheet, income statement, cash flow, assets, liabilities, ROI, margin, equity. They know what these terms mean, and more importantly, what they reveal. Let's say you own a business. If you can't read a profit and loss statement, you're flying blind. You might think you're succeeding because there's cash in the bank, but you could be bleeding from 3 directions and not know it. The wealthy know better. They don't just look at income, they look at margins. They don't just see revenue, they track net profit. They don't just see cash in, they ask, what's the return on that cash? Is it working? Learning the language of money doesn't mean you have to become an accountant, but you do need to understand the principles. You need to be able to look at a business deal and say, what's the ROI? What's the risk? What are the ongoing costs? What's the cash flow forecast? And you can't ask the right questions if you don't know the vocabulary. One of the richest men I ever knew used to tell me, Jim, when I read a financial statement, I'm not just reading numbers. I'm reading a story. And I want to know if it ends well or ends broke. That's the mindset. Numbers don't live, but they do require interpretation. And the person who understands the language will always be in a better position than the one who doesn't. So I'm asking you, start now. Learn the basics. Pick up a book on financial literacy. Study how assets are built, how cash flow works, how debt can erode or leverage your position. Read balance sheets like roadmaps. Read income statements like weather reports. And the more fluent you become, the more confident you become. Because once you understand how money speaks, you'll never be afraid of it again. You'll command it, direct it, multiply it, and before long, while others sleep worried, your money will be wide awake working, compounding, and building your freedom. There's a lesson most people learn too late. True wealth is built in silence. It's not about flashing the newest car, wearing the most expensive watch, or broadcasting your success for all to see. That kind of showmanship might get attention, but it won't build lasting wealth. Real wealth grows quietly, steadily, behind closed doors, away from the noise of flashy spending and empty applause. Think about it. The rich don't walk around with signs saying, "Look at me, I'm successful." They don't feel the need to prove their worth through status symbols. Instead, they invest their time, their energy, and their money in things that grow businesses, assets, education. They practice discipline in how they spend and how they save. They understand that the loudest spender is often the poorest investor. I've seen it myself. Many years ago, I met a man who owned several businesses and had built a fortune. But when you saw him, he dressed modestly, drove a reliable car, and lived in a comfortable but not ostentatious home. He said, "Jim, I'm not interested in impressing the neighbors. I'm interested in building something that lasts." That's the mindset. Quiet focus, consistent effort, and patience. The world is filled with people chasing status, trying to appear wealthy before they actually are. They want to be seen, admired, envied. But that chase is a trap. It leaves them broke, stressed, and stuck on a treadmill of debt and consumption. Meanwhile, the true wealthy are quietly accumulating assets, reinvesting profits, and building freedom. They're thinking about next year, 5 years from now, not just the weekend. Discipline is the key. The discipline to say no to unnecessary spending, to budget wisely, to prioritize long-term gains over short-term thrills. It's discipline to save when others spend, to invest when others consume, and to keep learning when others rest on their laurels. If you want your money to work for you while you sleep, you must build quietly. Let your results do the talking. Let your growing bank balance and expanding assets be your statement, not a flashy car or an expensive suit. Remember, lasting wealth isn't a trophy to show off. It's a foundation for freedom, security, and choice. So stop trying to look rich and start working quietly and consistently to be rich. The quiet builder always wins in the end. When we talk about wealth, many people picture numbers in a bank account or material possessions. But the true purpose of money isn't just accumulation, it's freedom. Freedom from the relentless exchange of time for money. Freedom to live life on your terms. Freedom to focus on what truly matters. The rich understand this deeply. Money is a tool to buy back your time. Think about it. Time is the most precious asset you have. Once it's gone, you can never get it back. Most people spend their lives trading hours for dollars, caught in a cycle of working harder to earn more, only to spend that money on obligations, bills, or fleeting pleasures. The wealthy break this cycle by investing their money wisely so that it works for them, generating income while they sleep, travel, or pursue their passions. I remember when I first grasped this concept. Early in my career, I was working long hours, always chasing the next paycheck. Then I started investing business ventures, rental properties, stocks, and slowly, the money I put in began to generate more money without me having to clock in. That's when I realized I was buying freedom, the ability to choose how I spend my days. This is a profound shift in mindset. Instead of working for money, you make money work for you. It's about building passive income streams that free you from financial worry and open the door to fulfillment. With your time reclaimed, you can focus on legacy, what you want to leave behind, not just for your family, but for your community. You can devote energy to impact helping others grow, solve problems, and create better futures. You can seek fulfillment pursuing passions that bring joy and meaning beyond the paycheck. Freedom doesn't come overnight. It's the result of disciplined saving, smart investing, and a clear vision of what you want your life to look like. It requires patience and sometimes sacrifices in the short term, but the payoff is worth every moment. So ask yourself, are you using your money to free your time, or are you still trading hours for dollars? If your goal is wealth, aim higher. Build assets that generate income while you rest. Use your capital to reclaim your most valuable resource, your time. Because at the end of the day, wealth isn't about what you have, it's about what you can do with your life. Remember, your money should serve your life, not the other way around. As we come to the close of this conversation on how to make your money work while you sleep, I want you to grasp one vital truth. Wealth is not merely a collection of dollars. In a sense, it's the freedom to live your life on your own terms. The habits you develop today shape that freedom tomorrow. You must move beyond simply earning a paycheck and step into the role of a wise steward who builds assets, understands the language of money, and uses time as the ultimate currency. Remember, wealth isn't built by chance or by chasing quick wins. It is built quietly, consistently, through disciplined habits that make your money a tireless worker for you. Compound interest, multiple income streams, automation of savings, these are not just concepts, but the very foundation stones of lasting success. Don't be fooled by flashy spending or the illusion of wealth. True riches come from creating value, making smart financial choices, and protecting your time above all else. Now is the moment for action. Take stock of your financial habits. Are you budgeting merely to survive, or are you budgeting to grow? Are you investing in your education to understand money better? Are you creating systems that automatically save and invest your earnings? If not, start today. The small changes you make now, repeated daily, will compound into a future where your money works harder than you do. Your mindset must align with this vision. Speak the language of wealth. Think in terms of value, and surround yourself with people who push you higher. Guard your time fiercely, because it is the most precious asset you have. Take responsibility for your financial future. Begin now to cultivate the habits that make your money work while you sleep. The freedom, fulfillment, and legacy you desire are within your reach, but only if you act.